We are live.
Oh, yeah.
Back with a Friday edition of your Wildest Fantasy Football Show, a Halloween edition of your Wildest Fantasy Football Show. Cody, what are you dressed up as?
High school gym coach.
Is that what a high school gym coach wears?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I mean,
hat, athletic attire, just in case you got to throw a kid out at third base, show them what they still got.
it's a lot of effort I see put into that.
Thank you. What are you, Kondo?
Do you want to take a guess at what I am?
Pizza.
Well, that's part of it, but
Pizza with fungus, mold.
No.
Ingrown hair.
Do I have ingrown hair? I have an ingrown fingernail.
Oh, wow.
Oof. It does hurt.
I don't know.
Cold pizza.
Who?
I'm cold pizza. I thought it was a pretty good one. I thought it was pretty obvious, honestly. But
I guess so.
I don't know if it's as good as your costume, although in this light, the pepperonis really do pop.
Pepperonis are popping right now.
I look very succulent.
It looks really good. You are,
and that's not a word that I would use to describe myself every day.
I mean, you are making me hungry. So,
would you say? I wouldn't say that I'm a snack. I would say that I'm a meal. This thing is going to keep falling until it's like this the entire show.
That's beautiful.
I already know that's going to happen. So this is going to be a problem throughout.
Price you pay to just be sexy, I guess, you know?
That's one word to describe it.
Yeah. I thought so.
Starting back with last night's game, we had a good game. Good Thursday night game for once. Came down to the very end, and Green Bay did end up defeating the previously undefeated Arizona defense and Arizona team.
They did.
What were your big takeaways from last night's game?
I just felt like Arizona, they threw it a ton, but it just didn't look like their pass game was clicking like it normally does. Obviously down game for Kyler for fantasy, but I think it was a good close game. I enjoyed watching it, but I didn't enjoy watching it for fantasy though, just because of Kyler Murray's poor performance. But if you had Aaron Jones, Randall Cobb, Chase Edmonds, I think you were happy on for the game, fantasy-wise too.
Yeah, we kind of had a good read on this game. We said we could see it being a big Aaron Jones game. We said I could see the defense making this more interesting from the Green Bay side, even though they're not necessarily the best defense in the NFL by any stretch. But just Aaron Rodgers, you knew they were going to make it interesting, and that's exactly what they did.
Right.
Obviously, the big play would be the last play of the game where A.J. Green just kind of went down. I don't know what was going on there. It looked like he was trying to block, and Kyler threw a ball to him.
Right.
He did not look at the ball at all and ended up being picked off to seal the game.
Right. There's that punt earlier on in the game that I think that's like the turning point that I was like, oh man, this could be tough. There's a similar play earlier in the season. I forgot what team it was. I want to say it was the Cowboys, I believe. I believe it was the Cowboys. But the ball moved the guy's hand. His finger moved and they kept the play, but this time they just happened to call it this time. And I was like, both times it was a big change in the game because I thought, but yeah, the punt was what did it for me.
I can't breathe. Yeah, that punt was definitely a big momentum changer.
Yeah.
I think looking at the fantasy numbers, we both said that I have a lot going on right now.
Okay.
We both said that Randall Cobb was someone that we wouldn't necessarily trust. obviously that was before we knew that MVS was going to be out.
Mm-hmm.
But he did end up scoring 2 touchdowns. So I guess we were kind of right, but we were also kind of, I mean, he only got targeted. I think 3 of his 4 targets were in the end zone. So ended up having a good day, although not a good day, if that makes any sense.
He had 5 targets, 3 catches, 2 touchdowns, 15 yards. Yeah, I mean, clearly touchdowns save you in PPR. I mean, each reception as the yard pretty tough. I mean, 5 yards catch on average for stat wise. I mean, I think you're happy if he's in your lineup. I think like if he was your wide receiver too, I think you're happy because I mean, people have been keeping Robert Woods and Keenan Allen in their wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 spot, and they're getting like 10 to 15 points a game. So I think you're happy with it.
You feel very lucky after that.
I don't know
after that game.
I don't know if it was lucky though. Just like I mean, when MVS was ruled out, like officially, I think like I assumed he'd get more targets, but I knew for fantasy he'd have double digits for sure, and so that's what kind of like made me happy.
I don't know about that. I like because obviously, and it's easy to say, take away his touchdowns, and he doesn't do anything. But if you take away his touchdowns, he went 3 for 15, 3 for 15, 2 touchdowns. Take away his touchdowns, he had what 4.5. So
right.
I would say you feel pretty lucky that he pulled down both of those touchdowns, or else we'd be pretty disappointed in Randall Cobb right now. Obviously, feel a lot better about the Packers going forward. Don't need Randall Cobb at all going forward. One of the big things I took away from this game, we talked about this a little bit before the show started, is that the guys that had good fantasy days, particularly for Green Bay, but I guess it could also apply to Arizona as well, just not very efficient in their production. So it was a little bit more of like a better fantasy day than a actual football day. Are you worried about that with any of these guys, whether it be a Chase Edmonds, a Aaron Jones, or are you just saying like that was this game? This game was like a lot of defense. They will rebound.
I mean, it was a defensive game. I mean, 2 very good defenses and 2 very good offenses. I'm not worried about it. I mean, yeah, you like it when people get more volume and they look better, like with the eye test. And then also having a good fantasy week instead of just having a good fantasy week, it is always more comforting. But I'm not worried about Aaron Jones or Edmonds or Tyler or even Aaron Rodgers. Like I'm not worried about any of these guys.
Are you? So you're not spooked by any of them?
I'm not.
Okay, fair enough. I tend to agree. I'm getting a little bit worried about Deandre Hopkins just with what happened in the game. If you saw the game, you saw that he missed just a lot of time.
Right.
After we presume it was due to that hamstring injury, came back, had 2 for 66, had a big 55-yard catch to start off the game. Only 2 targets. We were kind of saying just like trade DeAndre Hopkins previously.
Right.
So I think that's a lot harder to do after this game. But if you can still get a wide receiver 1 for DeAndre Hopkins, which I don't think is possible right now, do so. If you cannot, like, I don't know where you – it's hard to have much faith in DeAndre Hopkins, at least for the near future right now.
I mean, I guess it depends on who you consider a wide receiver 1. I think you could like a Mike Williams or a Scary Terry or a Godwin who are 11, 12, 13. I think you could easily like finagle your way into snagging one of those guys for Deandre Hopkins just on name value alone. I mean, Mike Williams is the number 2, and he's just going to continue to drop throughout the rest of the season. But he's not someone I'd want, but I think in that he'll be able to get as far as a wide one.
I would trade D-Hop for Mike Williams. I don't know if I would do it for Terry or Godwin, but I would definitely do it for Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams is going to cede some just touchdowns to Keenan Allen as the season goes on. Obviously, we expect Keenan Allen to not finish as the wide receiver 30-something that he's at right now, but I still think that he's a huge part of this offense. I expect him to be in that wide receiver 1 mix, not the top wide receiver, but in that top echelon, top 12 of guys come the end of the year. Is there anything else you had for this game?
This game, let me get there. Oh, Jesus. Hey! Sorry, dog.
I just thought that was a part of your costume.
Oh, no. I mean, maybe coaches have dogs. No. I don't covered everything. Jesus. God, what's freaking excited here? Okay, calm down.
You got to really build your gym teacher act into the performance here. Okay. So moving into the rest of the Sunday games that we did not cover yesterday, starting with a game that we already did cover, starting with Miami at Buffalo. Buffalo, big favorites here. Last time the two played each other, pretty big blowout for the Bills, 35-0 victory. As for the Bills, one of the interesting things here is the tight end position. Obviously, Dawson Knox was awesome until he got hurt. Expected to miss some time with a broken hand. I heard a lot of quotes from McDermott, Diggs, Josh Allen, really everybody that's anybody up in Buffalo saying how they have full confidence in Tommy Sweeney.
Yep.
And I wanted to know your opinion on whether you think that's just like talk or that actually means something going into this week, because I don't think anybody coming into the year was saying Dawson Knox is one of the most talented tight ends in football.
Right.
So is it possibly like a big part of just the position of being the starting tight end for the Buffalo Bills that could make Tommy Sweeney a fantasy tight end streamer this week?
Potentially. They are playing Miami, so that's like another reason that I'm entertained. But I'm not sure, just because I think, one, it's Miami for this week. Even going forward, I'm not sure how. I don't need him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think they needed Dawson Knox, to be honest. I mean, they just have weapons on this team, and they have personnel that are good enough to perform. So I'm not sure how he'll be. He's got 3 looks on the year, 4 looks on the year already. I don't know. I guess I'm not buying into it yet. I want to see it. I guess 2 weeks. I mean, this week they're playing Miami. The next week they're playing Jacksonville and Jets and then Indy. So actually, really not even. They have a pretty easy schedule coming up for the 4 weeks that Knox is expected to be out. That's another thing. Is not super buying into this yet.
I kind of am. I guess it depends who your options are at tight end. But if you're streaming the position, I think he's probably as interesting of a piece as anyone. And I'm willing to put, I don't know if necessarily my money where my mouth is, but my team where my mouth is. I just have a quick question for you. Are you going to start Evan Ingram this week?
I don't want to. I don't think I will. But if he's playing, I think I might.
Okay, so if you play him, then I am probably going to start Tommy Sweeney in the rest of my leagues because anybody who we haven't talked about it that much this week, but we are playing each other
We are.
in our league. Cody got off to a hot start with Kyler last night.
Right.
So we'll see if I'll be able to overcome that. But we should probably pull that our teams up. I don't know if we can pull our teams up, but pull at least say our lineups, maybe put them side by side to give the people an idea of what we're working with here for obviously this huge monumentous week. But in my other lineups, I actually picked up Evan Ingram as my tight end. Might have to change that.
I mean, they're missing. Where did I put it? They're on the bottom here. I mean, Galladay's out and Tony's out for sure already. They haven't officially said it, but both times when asked about them, they said very unlikely that they're suiting up for Sunday. So I mean, just less people. Saquon not there. That's the only reason I have interesting love for Evan Ingram. But we can talk about him later when we talk about the Monday game.
Yeah, I like Evan Ingram this week, but I also like Tommy Sweeney. Okay. I do think that he is a viable tight end option, and he got a touchdown last week, so they kind of went to him.
Well, I mean, he went immediately 1 for 1 yard.
But I mean, come in after Dawson Knox got hurt and still be trusted at the goal line, I think means something here. I think it means that. I think not only are they saying they have full confidence in him, but they're giving him some reps to show that he's not just going to be an outcast in this offense, or he's going to not get any work. And especially, obviously, the matchups are another thing that makes you pretty interested in it. I think I would need names to say whether I would start him over some. I think it would have to be pretty far down the list to feel like Tommy Sweeney is trustworthy, but I think he has as good of a chance to score a touchdown as any tight end.
I think he does for a drive or two, but I really don't see this game being close on Buffalo's side. I think they go out there and just start mopping up Miami, and then it's just going to be a Zach Moss, Devin Singletary day. That's just I don't think we can see this game. I mean, I don't know how far you want down on the list here.
No, I mean I was thinking about Uzuma. I saw how he pronounced his name. He literally made a video about it. Is it Uzuma?
I thought so.
Then I'm going with that. I will trust your opinion. Probably not the person to trust when it comes to pronunciation. I think we can both admit that, but I will trust you for the sake of continuing the show. I would take him over him.
I'd take
that'd be close.
Let me say, I'd take Uzuma over me, is what I'm saying.
I would say, yeah, you're probably right. So maybe I'm overhyping the Sweeney thing a little bit, but I think that he is a name to watch out for at least. As for the Miami side, the question arose of what pieces do you trust in Miami? I think there's a lot of names here. Devontae Parker expected to work back into the mix. There's a lot of people here that seem like very decent fantasy options.
I mean, they all have. They're on a bad, or they're on a bad team, which means their offense is going to be out there a lot. The only problem is they're playing Buffalo this week. Buffalo has just had an insane defense this year, so that's just why I'm a little more worried about them this week. But going forward, I like Waddle, Parker. I like him, and I like Gaskins and Gesicki. Honestly, Miles the only guy that second take trust. I don't blame you.
I think in this game particularly,
and particularly, I kind
I
of
would say Waddle.
I like Gesicki, Waddle, and Gaskin, and that's it. Like just those three. But I don't even love them enough to be in my starting spot. But
I'd say Waddle's a fine flex. I mean,
yeah,
you look at this offense, and I think Gesicki, based on just being a tight end, is a good option. But you look at what they're going to have to do against Buffalo, and Buffalo being a good defense, I think they're going to have to be able to get rid of the ball quickly, and Waddle plays right into that.
that's just another reason I like Gesicki. Or sorry,
Yeah.
you're just gonna like. I think he could easily catch 10 this game like he did against Tampa Bay, and just get a bunch of points that way. So I think that's why I'm less worried about it. I think he's gonna have Josh Allen right away. So, you were having big hard time over there.
So I'm trying to work like mind over matter here. My back itches, and I really don't think that I can reach to like itch my back.
I mean, if we were doing the show in person, then I could itch your back.
Scratch your back, I'll scratch, or scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Right.
I think the old saying goes. I don't really want to touch your back, but I feel like that's the least I could do if you're willing to touch mine. But yeah, I was just trying to mind over matter that thing as much as I could. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
New England at the Chargers. Chargers not huge favorites in this game. They did have a little bit of a skid against Baltimore, and that might be part of the reason why New England coming off obviously a monster victory. Are you worried about the Chargers? Number one, playing New England, who can show up on defense any day of the week, and they're coming off of this tough game. Are you having any worries of that lingering on?
No. Baltimore, like watching the game, they did a great job at neutralizing Bosa and defense Chargers have. And I think it trickled down of like it's demoralizing to see your number one guy get triple teamed and then like just like, oh man, how are we gonna stop them? Oh no, we're not doing good. I think it was just a trickle down effect. And I mean Ravens, I don't want to like diminish them all the way. I mean, they're not a terrible team against the run anyway. So it just builds a lot of pressure, a lot of different things affecting it. So I'm not worried about them, especially against England. I mean, Bill Belichick is like known for stopping your number one option, but like number one option is normally Keenan Allen, and he's underperforming. Now it's shifting. Like, potentially, keep on Keenan Allen. Mike Williams is already hot, and
Eckler could even be Austin Eckler, depending on how you look at it too.
It could be. I mean, it could be, but Eckler's a little banged up already, so that's why I just kind of assumed Chargers might just shift to a little bit more of the passing options on a couple of situations that they also might have would have run it too, but that was just my like thought process on it.
Yeah, I think one of the things from the New England side, I mentioned yesterday that the Chargers are giving up the most yards on the ground this year at 162 per game, which is like at least 15 yards higher than who's at 31. So potentially a big Damian Harris day ahead if they don't have to fight to keep up with the Chargers, if they can contain that offense.
I mean, Chargers have just an insane pass defense, so it has to be a good running game for them. Sorry, the dogs just moving and grooving. But
I've never had a gym teacher that's apologized.
I mean, I have.
Interesting.
Go too hard, cry.
Also for New England, could Brandon Bolden be the new James White? Since 3, he has at least 3 catches in 4 out of 5 games. I think it's like an interesting, not necessarily someone that you're like picking up and saying, oh, this guy's going to be an every week starter for me, but someone that might be a good speculative ad if he's still out there in your leagues to fill a role.
Brandon Bolden is out there in 90 89.5% of leagues. He's out there in a lot of them. I'm not jumping onto the Bolden train yet. I could see him having a good game.
Sounds like a fun train to jump on.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Depends how fast. I mean, it could be a good game for him, but I'm not sure. Just Stevenson's a healthy scratch right now, and I mean they have Bourne and back there too, but he's a little banged up. That's just the reason I'm not like jumping on the train all the way, just because they have 4 guys back there. I don't know. It's hard to trust a New England's guy to be like, happy about, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think you just have to like gauge expectations for what he could be, which is more of a like you get 10 points.
Right.
And he hasn't gotten to that point consistently yet, so not someone that I'm like super excited to have. But if you want to add him to the end of your bench, see if he can establish that role. He's only rostered in 10.5% of leagues. Someone like we said with Tommy Sweeney, I always keep an eye out for.
Right.
Moving on to Jacksonville at Seattle.
Nice.
I think that Laviska Shenault might be a big sleeper for the second half of the season. If you look at his targets this year, I mean, the guy is getting the ball or getting opportunities. It hasn't made the most of them so far this year. But like that's why it's a buy low. And I think he's the wide receiver 58 on the season. You're not going to have to give up too much to go get him. Right. But this is a guy that has 7+ targets in 4 games so far, 4 of 6 games so far this year. I think it's a guy they want to get involved. He had 10 targets in their last game against Miami. And I see potential there as a buy low guy.
Yeah, I mean, the Jags are going to be down a lot this year. They're going to have to throw, so it's nice to have wide receivers on teams that's going to have to throw. My only issue is like Trevor Lawrence showing me enough for me to trust the pass catchers like in week out for consistent fantasy value. I mean, Marvin.
You might have cut out, or you might have changed your tone on Trevor Lawrence.
I said he hasn't shown enough yet.
He has?
Not.
Has?
Trevor Lawrence has not shown me enough.
Okay, that time I heard it.
Thank you.
He has shown you enough.
You are something.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's just good to know how you feel about Trevor Lawrence. Okay. So you are not necessarily in on either of these guys as like, I think you're saying like what a Codyism or Cody. No, it would be a Toadyism of he could be good, but not on my team.
No, like I think one of them will be a wide receiver 2 at best, but more likely it'll be a mid wide receiver 3. So obviously they have value on teams. Do they have value in starting lineups week in and week out? I think not. And I don't think a lot of people are on that boat with me, considering between the two of them, they're rostered in, or they're starting 25 out of 200% of leagues. So it's not like a lot of people are with me here. But they're a conversation piece for like a flex or a bye week fill-in for a wide receiver, but they're not someone that you have to start week in and week out.
Would you rather have Jacoby Myers?
Yes.
Over both of these guys?
Both these guys.
Interesting.
Jacoby Myers has Mac Jones. Mac Jones is performing better, and they also have Bill Belichick, who coaches them, which we agreed yesterday. Coaching does play a part in how a team performs, and also they have 4 running backs who they rely on to mix things up. So yeah, I like.
Sure, I disagree more so for the fact that like I think coaching is a reason. I believe that they would we've seen Belichick really prioritize the run a lot. And I think for that reason, the Jags will throw the ball a bit more. So I would rather have both of these guys, I think, for a little bit more upside than
Okay.
Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby Myers might be a safer option, but
Jacoby
for what
Myers
we're getting.
Jacoby Myers has 59 targets on the year. Marvin Jones has 47, and Chenault has 40. So, he gets more passing attempts thrown his way. He's utilized them more. Jacoby Myers, I believe, is ranked higher than both of these guys. That's just another reason that I like him. Chenault was on, I believe he was on the waiver, or free agency in a couple of my leagues, and I leave him there. That's where I think he is, and desperately need a
Interesting. I would definitely like to have Chenault on the end of my roster as a bench piece, but that is just me. Do you have anything else for this game?
This game, I said it's going to be that Robinson is in for an easy day today. I'm expecting just great numbers at the end of this game, and excited to have him on your team, or try to make a last-second trade and go through Sunday morning. So
sure. If you have any running back against Seattle, you are excited, especially when it is one as talented as James Robinson.
Right.
Moving on to Washington at Denver. An interesting point was raised to me, and I have a feeling you're going to talk down on Terry McLaurin because that's just what the show is.
If you want me to lie, I'll lie.
Well, we will talk about what happens when you talk down on Terry McLaurin later in our bold predictions.
Okay.
Let's just say it hasn't seemed to go that well. What are your thoughts on Terry McLaurin this week?
This week they're playing Denver. Denver's numbers have been declining. Weeks come and pass. They're letting up 300 air yards a game. So I put Scary Terry in for. Let me see. It said Scary Terry, great game, minus the handle was what I put.
Full participant at practice yesterday.
Right. I did these notes yesterday and today. So he was a full participant today, limited yesterday.
I think he was full yesterday.
He was on my injury report, kind of. Sorry, it was Wednesday that he wasn't a full part. He was limited Wednesday, full participant yesterday.
It's okay. We all make mistakes, Coach.
I don't. That's why I'm a gym coach.
Okay. That's fair. I rescind my statement there.
Right.
And okay, well, this kind of throws a wrench in my thing because I have to go with you on Terry as far as his name's Scary Terry. If you're not going to start him on Halloween weekend, when are you going to start him?
Exactly.
Shout out to Kenny for giving me that one. I've seen a lot of Javonte hype. There was a thing I saw trade for Javonte Williams now. And I was like, well, he just had a 17-point week. So
right.
You're going to pay more than he's worth. And he still shared the load pretty evenly. I think he actually had 42% of the snaps. He only had 4 carries. He had 6 catches for 32 yards and a touchdown to get him 17.2 fantasy points, but 42% of the snaps, still a pretty even split there. It was slow down on the Javonte hype. I think I've been as much of a Javonte believer as far as eventually, but pace ourselves here. We're not at the halfway point yet. We saw him as a Cam Akers potential hopes for later in the season. DeAndre Swift hopes for later in the season. Slow down. When you see kids running in the hallways, what do you say to him?
I say, keep it up, Buttercup.
That's not what you're supposed to say.
Oh, that's why I'm a gym coach and you're not. You're a cold piece of pizza. Not good enough to be eaten when it's hot. Left on the side. Left out to rot. It's tough.
I mean, we didn't have to get personal.
Yeah, we had to. I mean, I'm not on the Javonte hate that you're on here. I mean,
I'm not hating him.
I mean, the dude hasn't averaged less than 40% of the offensive snaps for the team yet this year. I think for a guy, I mean, he's running back, 23 on the year? It's a running back 2. I think you're fine. I mean, is he like a weekly starter with confidence? No, but I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Like but I think like when you're getting down there gets kind of, I mean, it just gets kind of weird. Like, are you trusting a Michael Carter, an Antonio Gibson, a Zach Moss, like Alex Collins, David Johnson, James Conner? Like, those are the guys that you're starting in place of him.
Can we go through the first 3? Because I would trust him over everyone, maybe besides Zach Moss, and maybe even Zach Moss in the matchup. I would trust them over Javonte. I phrased that weird.
You did a little bit. I mean, so do you start him over Michael Carter?
I start Carter over him.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, but I think it's like on a matchup-based thing. I don't think it's a guaranteed thing. I mean,
most weeks I'm starting Carter over him personally.
There's like a couple of defenses, but I mean, like I said, you can probably get both these guys for cheaper. I mean, Antonio
Gibson, I have to.
I mean, I think Zach Moss is the one me and you are going to disagree on more. I just think, like, he is the guy who gets the goal line work, but there's going to be some days that he just doesn't fall into the end zone and he gives you the dud. And I think that Javonte has a better offensive split because that's what you look for normally.
I 100% agree with you. Right. I just said this week against Miami, I would rather have Zach Moss.
I mean, yeah, I think you always want a running back against Miami over a running back who's not playing Miami. But
so it looks like we have the same opinion on him.
I think so. Not a set it and forget it starter, but I'm okay with starting him based off of matchup for sure.
Last thing in this game, Jerry Jeudy, obviously coming back from IR. We didn't do injuries. We should probably do those after this game, just so we don't get any further behind on that.
Oh, we just hit him as the game goes.
True. Jerry Jeudy coming back off of IR. How does that affect the Broncos pass catchers? I know a lot of people panicking on Courtland Sutton. Some people, maybe even including myself, a little worried about Noah Fant, a little worried about this whole offense. So how is Jeudy going to affect all the other guys in a pretty crowded receiving room?
I think Tim Patrick falls by the wayside. I think Courtland Sutton falls down towards a Tim Patrick area. That dog's got a piss, man. Let it out. The dog actually did not want to pee. My lovely lady came home, and she loses her fucking mind every time she comes home.
It's a kids show.
Oh, sorry. But yeah. You don't want to pop it up when I'm talking. I'm lost. I don't know. I think he helps. I mean, he hurts Tim Patrick, but I think he gives.
Are we talking about the dog or Jeudy?
Jeudy.
Okay.
I think when your star wide receiver comes back, defenses have to respect it. They have to game plan for that. Frees up some guys. Targets are going to become a little bit smaller, but they could be a little bit more rewarding. Where you were getting good double covered on a look before, now it's back to a one-on-one for you in the middle. So it could be beneficial. I want to give it 2 games because they're playing Washington this game, so it shouldn't be a need to pass it all that much.
Washington's pretty bad against the pass.
Exactly. So that's why I think they won't have to pass it. when they play Dallas next week, that's the game that I'm going to be really interested to see how the offense kind of looks with Judy back.
I do think that this is going to be a competitive game, so I think that they're going to be more in a position to pass it than you do.
Mhm.
I think that, like you, I don't know that I think common sense would tell me to say Tim Patrick is going to be out and just not fantasy relevant anymore. But I kind of want to be patient with that as far as Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton are obviously the deeper guys on the outside, where Judy is more underneath.
Right.
Quick passing game.
Mm-hmm. So you think it's going to hurt Fant more than Patrick?
I don't know, because Fant was successful week 1. So that makes me think that Fant might be okay. And obviously Teddy Bridgewater, not known as this strong arm quarterback that's like taking all the shots. So I think I want to see if Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton split the deep balls, or if all the deep balls or the majority of the deep balls are going to go to Cortland Sutton. I think I'm more worried now that with a limited number of shots, because there's going to be more open underneath with Judy there, I'm worried that Sutton and Patrick are not going to have the same opportunity as they had in previous weeks.
Yep.
And that through those limited number of targets, are they going to split them, or is it going to go more to Sutton? So that's what worries me more with Sutton. Are you starting Judy this week?
I think so. I think I'd feel better in starting him than if I have Sutton on my team. I assume I'd probably have Jerry Judy. I'd probably start Jerry Judy over Sutton if he plays.
I don't feel awful about it. I guess it depends on your options. I haven't seen anything that suggests that he's going to be. I've heard some concerns about a pitch count. I haven't seen anything that necessarily says he's going to be on one. So if he's playing the full game, I trust him.
Mm-hmm.
As much as you can. I think he's kind of in that low wide receiver 2. If you want to put him there and he's your best option, I would go there.
Yeah.
Going on to, did you have anything else?
Nope. Covered it.
Cool. On to Tampa Bay at New Orleans. As for injuries, Michael Thomas hasn't practiced this week.
Right.
And Antonio Brown looks like he could be out for
Wow.
definitely for this game.
Right.
Potentially for longer. Gronk is back, though.
Gronk is back for Tampa Bay. OJ Howard is questionable. And for New Orleans, little Jordan Humphrey over there still has COVID. So interested to see if the league pulls a COVID test on some of the key New Orleans players before the game.
Can they do that? Just pull one and say, "Hey, buddy, it's you."
Well, I mean, they can make anyone get tested at any time, I guess. I don't know. That seems to be the world that we are living in right now.
Who knows? As for Gronk, are you starting Gronk right away?
I guess it would have to be name game, but probably.
Say you have. Let me pull them up here. Hopefully, see if we can pull up some names here. Say you have like an Evan Ingram, who I know you're very high on.
I would. I like Gronk's touchdown chances a lot more than I like Evans.
Okay. Everything's breaking on me. And I'm just a piece of cold pizza, so I'm not able to handle it.
That is tough.
As much as I would like to. Say you have Mike Gesicki. You're starting Mike Gesicki.
I like Mike. I really do. Gronk has a more of like a touchdown chance than Gesicki does, but Gesicki has a chance to get a bunch of yards. So it's kind of like hit or miss. I mean, Gronk played 3 weeks and has 5 red zone targets. So like those numbers are kind of got to respect it a little bit. The dude went 4 for 5 in the end zone. So for me, it's a lot closer. And Gronk, I think, was what tight end 1 week 1. I'm pretty sure close tight end 1 week 2. And I mean, then you got hurt week 3. So
What about Dalton Schultz?
Gronk.
I would agree.
Schultz is playing my Vikings, so can't ever root against my Vikings.
AB being out plays a big part in it too.
Right.
So I think that is an interesting one. I wanted to talk about Chris Godwin, who's a very interesting case in this offense. We don't know how long Antonio Brown is going to be out. They've been pretty quiet about that.
Right.
I think most things I've seen are indicating that it's going to be not like too long term. Like they hope they could get him back after the bye week. So I would say around that Washington to like Indy or Atlanta timeline, which is still a good amount of time. So Chris Godwin could have a window here. Would you be trying to take advantage of that and trade him for something that or someone that may have less competition for targets?
Yeah, I mean, if I could do a Godwin for a DJ Moore or a DK or someone like that, then sure. I'd even probably go down as far as like Scary Terry or Calvin Ridley.
I think that's going to be like your more realistic options there too.
Yeah, I mean, if Godwin utilizes this week as a monster game, I think then next week for sure you should be able to trade for DJ Moore or maybe even a DK. DK owners seem to be, I don't know why, but they seem to be wanting to get rid of him. I've had multiple leagues where the DK owners is trying to get rid of him. And I'm like, this is interesting. I like DK. So, I mean, again, depends on your league, but I think most leagues you should be able to trade for at least a Calvin Ridley or.
I think a Ridley deal is very interesting.
I think, yeah. A lot less clutter back there in terms of targets.
Agreed. As for New Orleans, I don't think there's much to talk about. You start Kamara, you don't really start anyone else.
I put Callaway game if I've ever seen one.
Really?
I mean, Tampa Bay will let you throw on him, and I think that if the dude puts up 8 receptions, 100 yards, that's 18 points, falls in the end zone, 20-something, I think he's an interesting flex option. I mean, he put up 24 and a half against Washington. He has a chance to do it in this game. Yeah. I'll be bullish on him that he can perform this week.
Interesting. Are you going to start him against me?
I don't know. I might
I'd love to see it.
I might need a big boom guy this week, considering Kyler Murray just dropped the ball for me.
We will see. So, going on to the Sunday night game.
Yes.
Dallas at Minnesota. A lot of question marks here. Obviously, the big one being Dak Prescott. Will he play? I heard that he's feeling a little sore today.
There's no Dak.
Is that official?
Yep. Like I said, I just do the injuries while they come. But no Dak. Cooper Rush is officially listed as the starter for Dallas. So my takeaway on this game was going to be that, great game for Zeke and Pollard. I think those are the two guys who are just going to be able to. I think Minnesota has a, interesting run defense. Like, I think sometimes we can stop people, sometimes we can't. Depends on who we are that week. But I think Zeke and Pollard are just going to be able to run at will. Not at will, but I think they're both going to have interesting games.
Where did you see the Dak is at, like 100% out?
I mean, I saw it when I looked on to like Dak's name, and then when you go onto the ESPN app and you look at projected points, Big Daddy Cooper Rush over here is the only quarterback with any fantasy points next to his name.
Yeah, but Michael Thomas is projected for fantasy points, and he hasn't practiced all week.
And Dak Prescott also has an O next to his name. So
See? I looked on Twitter and I didn't find any announcement. That's why I was very confused.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know. I'm just letting you know what this is telling me. And hey,
I appreciate you sharing your knowledge with the show.
Yeah. It said Gallup returned to practice Wednesday. I don't know what you're talking about. About he hasn't practiced.
I said Michael Thomas hasn't practiced.
Oh, he said Michael Gallup. I was like, Michael Gallup is practicing.
And all I'm seeing that calf. Dak Prescott is feeling a bit sore, but he's expected to practice Friday.
And I
see questionable.
Right. And on here it says it is a Q but no points. So I'm assuming he's not going to participate in the game.
Well, that doesn't mean he's officially out.
I assume he is.
Well, that doesn't. I asked if he was officially out.
Yeah, and what it said earlier was that he was out. So I said awesome.
Well, it's not awesome.
I mean, it's awesome for my Vikings.
Okay.
Easier chance to win. I mean, hey, you don't want to play against Tom Brady when he has to GOAT squad. You want to play against Tom Brady on the Jets. This is what it is.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Let that one marinate.
Obviously, I think whether Dak plays or not plays a big role in this game. If Dak is out, I'm very scared. I think for everyone on this offense, obviously you're playing CeeDee Lamb, you're playing Zeke Elliott, but I think it hurts everyone if Dak is out, including Zeke, because just the balance of the offense, like they can key in on that running game. And I don't think we've seen anything from Cooper Rush that indicates that he is going to hold the fort down necessarily great like a Case Keenum did. And Case Keenum didn't play great, but he was able to.
It was a hurricane.
He was able to do what he needed to do. And I just haven't seen that from Cooper Rush. I don't think any of us have. So, and we saw this offense last year without Dak really struggle. So I don't think you can say with full confidence that doesn't matter. I think a lot of people are kind of bullish on Zeke either way, but I think it hurts Zeke 100% if Dak didn't play, because Dak didn't play last year, and we saw the effect that had on Zeke. So I'm a little worried from that regard. The Gallup return, I guess, is not as...
It's not as meaningful this week, just because, I mean, to be fair to Cooper Rush, he's thrown the ball 3 times in the NFL. Like, if we're going to give rookie quarterbacks...
I just said we haven't seen it.
Right, but, I think if we're giving rookie quarterbacks and, those wide receivers the benefit of the doubt, who have never, even watched, firsthand at practice, just how fast defenses move and how smart they are compared to college players, I think he's in for a good game. I think he's going to have around 200 yards, maybe a touchdown, probably a pick, just because I want to support my Vikings here. But I think he's going to look decent back there. I think it's going to be a lot of short stuff, so I think Schultz is an interesting option, and especially the running backs. But I think he's going to have a decent game, but not a great one. But I'm not starting him, but I'm not as worried for the pass catchers, I guess, as you are.
Yeah, I'm just a little concerned because of that lingering effect of last year. I think that might be in my head a little bit too much for my own liking.
Who did they start last year?
They had Andy Dalton, your pride and joy.
Exactly.
As for Minnesota, I also feel like for fantasy purposes, it's worse for Minnesota, at least pass catchers, if Dak wasn't to play also. Like, I will present a situation quickly while you wash that down. I was thinking about starting Adam Thielen over Scary Terry before I realized it was Halloween weekend, and you can't sit Scary Terry on Halloween weekend. And with Dak being out, I was like, I can't do that.
I'm with you. I think Dalvin is going to have a bigger part in this offense this game. But I mean, like Dallas's defense is like they're giving up what almost 300 passing yards a game, so they got to go somewhere. I'm not like again. You have
didn't mean to pull that up yet. That's later.
That's our teams. I mean, I don't know. I'm less scared to start Adam Thielen, I guess, than you are. But again, it also depends on who you got blessed and got Cooper Kupp and Terry. So I mean, like if you have Scary Terry, Adam Thielen, and someone,
in most cases, I'm fine with starting Adam Thielen.
Right. Like if you have like Allen Robinson or Darnell Mooney, I'm starting Adam Thielen over both those guys. So like, again, it's like you're starting Adam Thielen, you're starting Justin Jefferson. You're just expecting, a slight bump down in the numbers, but nothing that's like, oh man, I wish I didn't start these guys. Like nothing that.
Agreed. So moving on to that is all the games.
Every game this weekend except for Mondays.
Which we will cover on Monday, as well as wrapping up all of these games, breaking them all down, what happened, fantasy relevant stuff. I think we should do bold predictions first. It was a better week for us. It might have been a better week for one of us than the other person, but
I don't even remember what mine was, but yeah.
I don't want to dwell on that too much. Recapping last week, I want to say, first off, coming into the week, I had 2 predictions right on the year. Toady had 1 prediction right on the year.
Right.
Do you want to hear mine or yours first?
Mine are all bad, so we can start with the positives. Go with yours.
Okay, so your predictions, Darrell Henderson, top 5 week.
Right.
Which was like a fair assumption. I think I would have been with you on that.
You actually criticized my pick, so you were with me that he was going to have a great week. Just before, it just looks like I was the only one, since I'm going first now.
Well, I mean, I didn't have him on my bold predictions, but
I also went first, and he was the number 1 prediction just because I knew he's your guy. But I mean, at least he didn't put up 9.4 on my team for me, though. So that's
true. He was the running back 31.
Right.
You did get one. Pat's defense, top 5 week against the Jets.
Amen.
Huge, bold prediction.
Amen.
Who would have thought that would have come true? They finished as the defense number 5 on the year or on the week.
What are you talking about? 4. Bucks got 18. Giants got 15. Titans got 14. Patriots got 13. Colts got 12. Colts for number.
I saw 5 in what I saw yesterday, but I don't have that pulled up, so I won't argue with you.
I got it pulled up right here. Just for you. Just for the same.
So Lamar, outside of the top 10 quarterbacks, was the next one. And he finished as the QB 7. And I'm going to save the last one because the last one was a little bit of both of us. So as for mine, my first one was Devontae Freeman would be a top 24 running back. I've had pretty bad luck with barely missing some, but this time it came back around. Devontae Freeman finished as the RB22 on the week. The next one was Chuba Hubbard, top 5 running back. He finished as the running back 29, so not too close. And Justin Fields, top 12 quarterback. He finished as QB 24 on the week. As for our bonus one, Cody predicted that Terry McLaurin would finish outside of the top 15 wide receivers, while I predicted that Terry would finish as a top 5 wide receiver. Terry finished as the wide receiver 5 on the week. So chalk that one up. An extra point for me. Cody, you got to start catching up. This is a big week for you.
He got 0.1 points more than Chris Godwin. I was so close to getting it. Just so close.
So close, but yet so far away.
Oh, yeah.
This is a huge week for you. I mean, I don't want to say it's a can't lose, but I think it's a must win.
I mean, maybe. Kyler Murray kind of started off the week a little rough, so I already have an idea of how this weekend's going to go.
Okay. I have 4 points in this. You have 2. I can start off if you want me to start off.
Sure.
So we talked about Tommy Sweeney earlier in the show. I just like his odds at catching a touchdown this week. And I really think that's probably all you need to finish as a startable tight end in fantasy football. So I like Tommy Sweeney to finish as a top 12 tight end this week in fantasy football.
Interesting one. Sweeney, top 12. Okay. So we're starting off soft. Got it.
I don't think that's he has 2 catches for 2 yards, I think.
But you said starting Buffalo Bills tight end. All right, since we're going soft, Brandon Ayuk, top 15 week.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
For that, I might even change. I'll just go plain bold predictions for that.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Top 15. Wow, it's the Ayuk breakout.
I'm kind of banking on Deebo Samuel not playing, and then Ayuk just performing massive. Kind of what I'm
return to practice yesterday.
Yeah, I know it's like this is just real bold now, but it is what it is.
Fair enough. I don't like the Houston Texans. I don't enjoy them as a team. I'm a Colts fan. They're not normally a problem, but they're just not. I would say like a good relationship that we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I do love Philip Lindsay, and I think this week with Mark Ingram gone to the Saints, Philip Lindsay, I don't think he's going to get a ton of catches or a ton of touches. I should say, I guess both. But I think that he is a talented player who could make the most of his opportunities. So I think he will finish as a top 24 running back this week.
Okay. Houston playing a bad team. Interesting. Who would have thunked it?
I don't think I even know who they're playing. Who are they playing?
Houston? Aren't they playing? I thought they're playing
the Rams.
Rams? Terrible team. They're going to run all over the Rams. Where are the Rams?
Probably in Houston.
No, I'm looking. Hold on. I mean, they're giving up 111 rushing yards a game.
I think it's going to be mainly through the air, personally.
Oh, all right. I mean, they're only giving up 260 yards. So that's a close one.
Okay. Where are you going for your number 2 pick?
Number 2, you're going to love it since it's just a soft one like you're going today. I said Browns. They're Nick Chubb and Johnson will combine for over 150 rushing yards alone. Not passing yards, just rushing yards. No catches for them. I mean, they could catch it, but I'm just counting the rushing yards. It's a rivalry week for them this week, playing the Steelers. I just assume it's going to be a grit and grind game. I think Steelers are going to throw out all the stops. You know, who knows, maybe rip a helmet off or two. We're not sure yet. We'll figure it out as the game goes.
Precedent shows that it is a possibility.
Who knows?
I mean, yeah, Ernest Johnson did run for 146 yards last week.
Right.
This one,
They weren't playing the Steelers, though.
again, some that weren't they playing the Broncos who were good against the run, though?
I mean, Broncos played 3 really bad teams so early on and have just been dropping every week. So, like,
I mean,
they have like a middle. I think their defense is middle of the road. I think it's like some weeks it can perform, some weeks it can't. Has Von Miller, got a couple of guys back there. Don't hate their defense, but it's not as scary as the numbers are showing them to be.
I mean, I'm a pizza. I don't have hands. Somebody left me out in the cold.
Right.
So I got a coat. Like, I can make excuses too. Cleveland is also running the ball for 170 yards a game.
And Pittsburgh only allows 100 rushing yards a game. So something's going to break.
And hopefully not a helmet.
Justin
Fields, top 12 quarterback. I don't think this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And in full disclosure, but I might keep saying it every week until it does, just because I want to brag about it. And I said it last week for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Justin Fields hatred on this show, not particularly from me. So I would love to just get revenge for Justin Fields.
Interesting. So for my last one, I had 2 prepared.
I also have more if you
I made 1 wide receiver and 1 quarterback, but since you went quarterback, I'll go quarterback for mine. I said Brady will finish outside the top 7 this week at quarterback.
7 is an interesting number.
Lucky number 7 for me. It's Halloween, so like luck's not a thing now. So that's just kind of where my mind went.
I think you might have tried to trick for potentially a treat of getting an extra point in this.
I don't know. I don't think he's finished outside the top 5 yet. So
he had 1 week where he had 11, I think so. That would be about probably, and he had 17 1 week. But obviously, most of the weeks for Brady, have been quite good.
The number 1 scoring quarterback on the year, I believe.
Yes.
So I mean,
if you do have more, I will keep going.
I do not. I mean, I have 1 prepared. If you want to spew yours, I'll spew mine. I don't feel super confident with this one, but I'll shoot.
I will say that I don't think Damian Harris being a top 5 back is too bold.
That's not bold at all.
So I would rather go DJ Moore is the number 1 wide receiver overall this week. He's had a rough couple of weeks. Not rough, but for DJ Moore expectations, pretty difficult. I could see this as a rebound game for Carolina. I said that yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but this year I just have a thing against the Falcons. Don't like them. Don't know what it is. I think they've just let me down personally, whether it be, I don't know, just any issue that I've had with them.
Right.
I ask them to do a favor and they just say, okay, and then just ignore me. I say, hey, can Calvin Ridley have a good game? They say, okay, and then he doesn't. So I think that's probably a big part of it, maybe a little personal, but sometimes when it gets personal is when we perform the best, and that's why I think DJ Moore is the number 1 wide receiver. I will actually go ahead and say number 1 fantasy player this week, highest scoring fantasy player this week.
I mean, I guess he has the chance to do it. I mean, no CMC. Robbie Anderson hasn't caught a ball all year. Chuba Hubbard came back down to earth. I mean, hey, I could see it happening. This one shouldn't surprise you. Kind of easy one, I would say. I said Lockett will finish as a top 12 wide receiver this week.
I do like that one. Any explanation?
Well, no.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, does a gym coach ever have to explain themselves? I think not.
Just in legal situations, I would imagine.
I didn't say I
played the 5th.
That's just, I don't know why I had to go there. This is weird.
I'm pizza. I'm a pepperoni pizza. Things can get spicy in a hurry. Okay, should we do questions? Yes.
Yeah, I think that was a good time.
What are you wearing? I'm cold pizza. Cody is
I'm a gym
coach that may be in some kind of legal trouble. Aaron Jones outscored Ertz and D-Hop. Let's go. Let's.
Good job.
I had $13 of fab left. Do I use it on Antonio Brown? And how much fab do I use on A-Rob if I don't get AB?
Don't use any fab on A-Rob until they get rid of their quarterback situation over there. I mean, I say that's like a joke sometimes, but like he hasn't been able to give him the ball. Like he needs a quarterback who can throw the ball to him. Don't waste it. Like
I agree. I mean, I wouldn't use much.
I'd use $1. I'd use $1. I wouldn't go.
I would probably not go much higher than that, like 3 or so. If it's like a redraft league, obviously, I would hope that he isn't out there in any sort of dynasty or anything like that. AB, on the other hand, I think I would pony up a good amount. We've seen the potential there. It's hard because we don't know the injury situation. And I guess if there's more injury clarity and you can wait, then I would just use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
But I would probably I'm going to like $10 pretty instantly, or like 8 to 10. It's AB. He's had several weeks where he's been a wide receiver 1.
Antonio Brown has he has as much of a chance as any to, go out there and have a good game. So I like him. Get Antonio.
We will pull up the matchups at the end of the show. We have to see just what I have to overcome to beat Cody. Thankful.
Not much this week.
I don't know. Do I start Sweeney over Melvin Gordon or Gallup? I would start him over Gallup, especially if Dak is out.
Right. I'd go Melvin Gordon. Then
I would go Melvin Gordon first and foremost, though.
Melvin Gordon, then Sweeney, then Gallup.
Do I start Sweeney over Ricky Seals-Jones? It's an interesting one.
I think Baker's playing, right?
What does that have to do with this?
Different team. Okay. I was thinking Donovan Peoples-Jones, not Ricky Seals-Jones. So
there's a lot of Joneses. It's hard to keep up with the Joneses.
Keeping up with it's tough.
I want to look at just the tight end matchups here in tight end, particularly the defenses. I know the Broncos are pretty low on the list. They are 4th in fantasy points allowed to opposing tight ends, where Miami is they're in the top 10. I think Seals-Jones sees more work.
Right. I'd go Rick.
I would say Sweeney has a better chance at a touchdown. So depending on what your team needs, if you're looking for more upside, I would go with Sweeney in that regard. But I think in most cases, I would probably go with Ricky Seals-Jones, just a safer option.
Right. I'm with you.
Tonyan tore his ACL. I did see that notification pop up.
Yep.
I mean, sucks. I know a lot of people had high expectations for Tonyan coming into the year. Moving forward, we'll talk about that more next week.
We're talking about next week.
You think I can trade away Waddle and Gainwell for Robert Woods? I think you can. I don't know if you should. With Miles Sanders going on IR.
Right. I think you
potentially
running back on your team over going out and getting a wide receiver. So,
do I trade Javonte or keep him? I think it depends what you can get. If really the hype of what a lot of people are saying is getting to people in your league and they're like willing to trade a solid player for a Javonte Williams, like an Antonio Gibson, I would say is a pretty interesting name. I feel like the Antonio Gibson thing, like we talked down on Antonio Gibson a lot, but recently I've been saying his value is starting to get so low now that I think he's almost someone you want to buy.
Depending on what you have to pay for these players plays a big part on what you should do with them. Obviously, if
You're not relying on Antonio Brown or Antonio Gibson every week, then like worth a shot for sure.
Right, I'm with you. I think you keep them, and I think everyone's always tradable. I don't think there's ever anyone on your team that you're like, no matter what, we'll never trade. So I think like you field offers for them and you shoot high on your offers, but like don't lowball yourself on Javonte. I think
agree.
He's gonna finish as an RB2 this year, so like keep him on your team.
Do you think he finishes as an RB2?
I could see him finishing inside the top 25 for sure.
Do I drop the Chargers defense or Falcons defense for the Minnesota defense?
Do you drop the Chargers or Falcons for Minnesota? I think you keep the Falcons, my guy. I mean, if it depends if you're playing them this week or not, but I mean, Atlanta's playing Carolina. Sam Darnold hasn't looked great, and Chuba Hubbard came back down to earth, so they have potential for this week. I mean, Minnesota's playing Dallas, so tough. I mean, it's a banged up Dallas, so I don't blame you for thinking it, but I don't know. It's a tough one. I think you keep it though.
For the rest of for this week in particular, I would drop the Chargers defense.
Okay.
And pick up Minnesota defense, and then if Dak doesn't start, consider playing them. But also, like you said, Sam Darnold has turned the ball over quite a bit in the last few weeks. So I don't know if I'd even go against the Falcons defense in that category, even though I think I'm betting a little bit against the odds and seeing a Panthers bounce back week.
I mean, they could bounce back. I mean, Sam Darnold, 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, so they could definitely bounce back if Sam gets it under control.
Asking for a friend, what are you doing with Mike Williams? I think I'm higher on Mike Williams than Cody is. I still see him finishing as like a back end wide receiver 1, kind of in that like 8 to 12 range.
He is currently wide receiver 11 right now. Keenan Allen not look as Keenan Allen of old. I think he's going to finish. I think Mike Williams is going to finish as a wide receiver 2. I think you keep him. But I think you either get value while you can, or you get someone who, right now, I think you still have a chance to trade for a guy who could and will finish in the RB or wide receiver 1 category. I think if you wait another couple weeks, I think Keenan Allen just gets it together, and Mike Williams' trade value quickly diminishes.
Higbee or Schultz?
For the week or for the rest of the season?
I think I would still go Higbee either way.
I don't know. I like Schultz touchdown upside. I guess I just have to figure out what the Rams are going to do with Cooper Kupp. If they're going to try to get that dude to 2,000 yards and just force feed him the ball, then Higbee's going to start coming.
We got some feedback. Sam Darnold is about to blow that defense up. Sam Darnold played the Giants last week, and I think he might have tried to blow him up, but I think he just blew himself up. I mean, I do agree that I think that there is a shot at a bounce back week.
Okay.
But it's never looking too promising when you get benched for PJ Walker.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Like, I didn't think the Giants' defense is that scary. That's why I don't think like
Terry's scary.
Terry's scary. But I don't know. I mean, hey, if you wanna sit there and believe Sam Darnold's gonna do it, then all the power to you. I ain't gonna crush your bubble.
Jones's or Williams's rest of the season? That's a very good question, especially for you. Obviously, on the side of the Joneses.
Yeah, give me some Joneses. I already traded.
Can you be on the side of the Joneses though?
What?
You were a part of 3 Williams and a Gaskin.
I am also just a part of trade every day. Trade as much
So
as
you're going to try to trade your Williams for Joneses.
If I could, I would.
Okay.
Not from a lack of trying.
I want to just make sure I didn't pass anything over here. Another friend is asking about Chris Godwin and if he should trade him for Calvin Ridley. I wouldn't yet.
I would not. I think Calvin Ridley is going to come up, but I don't know if Chris Godwin. I don't think it's like.
I think Chris Godwin's going to have a solid next week at least. So
I don't know. Like it all depends on what you want on your team. I mean, Godwin is in a crowded area. It's going to get more crowded when Brown comes back.
Not more Crowder, because Jamison Crowder is with the Jets.
Trade deadline has not happened yet, so we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Let me live my best life.
Keep an eye out.
Never know.
Question is Dak going to play?
No.
I think that's the question on everyone's mind.
He's not going to play. Here to hear first.
I don't know. I cannot answer that question.
I just answered it. You're fine.
My squad 10-team league. Stafford, Watson. Moral decision. Aaron Jones, J-Rob, Javonte, Darrell Williams, Gainwell, Hill, JJ, DJ Moore, A-Rob, Waddle, Gallup, Pitts, Schultz. Who do I trade? Schultz?
I think you trade Darrell Williams and Gainwell for a week in and week out starter.
I don't think that's a bad idea at all. And I would get rid of Schultz while you can before Gallup makes an impact there. And if you get anything for Gallup too, if you can get an upgrade, just somebody who has a bigger target share, less competition. That is always something that we've harped on throughout the show and something that I think is important for just fantasy opportunity. Without further ado, I think it's time to pull up the lineups. Wouldn't you say so?
You are like a kid in a candy shop. You're so happy.
What do you mean? I'm not. I'm very worried. I think that's actually the big problem here is how worried I am. I got to take this banner down quickly. And I don't know if I can make this any bigger because
I'll be honest, I can't see it. But I mean, then again, I have.
There we go. So maybe projected to win. John Smith and Cody are owning the team together. I don't think Cody knew how just internet worked at that time. But yeah, this is the lineup. I have Tom Brady, Henderson, Jonathan Taylor, Terry, Cooper Kupp, Noah Fant, Zeke, Eagles defense, and Greg Joseph going. Might sub out Terry for Thielen. Not sure yet. Cody had, obviously, miraculous performance from Kyler Murray last night. Cordell Patterson, Gaskin, Emmanuel Sanders, Justin Jefferson, Evan Ingram, Shepard, Bears D, and Ryan Sucker. Who do you think's going to win? I like I said, very worried. There was a a moment where I don't even know what I was talking about, but there was a moment where I was. So that sums it up, I guess, as well as I can.
Yeah.
Okay. And Second Take Extra has some feedback. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean Kyler Murray kind of just he ruined the team kind of already.
Okay, don't put it all on one guy.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, it just set a precedent for the rest of the team of what's acceptable when your quarterback goes out and does a dud like this. So
I don't know. I feel like if you are truly like a gym guy, like one of the lessons you're supposed to teach is like it's not just one guy; it's everybody. It's
no,
team effort.
it's not a team. I mean, obviously, if you have Michael Jordan on your team, you're gonna win. Okay, it ain't about team. It ain't about none of that. It's about who has the best players at the best time.
Do we know who has that?
Yeah, I mean, I have the best team, clearly.
I agree.
Thank you.
I was going to say there was a moment where we were very upset about something, and I did text you. I did say it on the show that my team was going to destroy your team.
You were all upset, and you said, I can't wait till I play you. I'm going to absolutely murder you. And then you sent
no, let's not put words in my. I didn't say that I was going to murder anyone.
I'll pull it.
I want to make that very clear. I did say that I was going to like annihilate your team, and that could happen. Again, very scared, very scared. I don't know how we're going to overcome the Kyler stuff, but that is kind of what I'm worried about. Obviously, who wouldn't be worried? And it's really Evan Ingram, and then obviously Myles Gaskin, big like very. We know that I love him.
I'm gonna laugh so hard if Myles Gaskin drops like a 20 bomb this week. I don't care if I lose, but if he drops a 20 bomb, I'm counting as a win.
I don't think it does count as one, but
it does.
If that's how you want to take it, I can't tell you otherwise.
Damn straight.
Have a little quick Halloween Q&A here for you to end the show before we just get ready for the weekend.
Yeah.
Halloween weekend. What is the best costume besides obviously today that you ever had?
I dressed up as a piece of bacon one year. That was pretty good. That might be my best one. What about you?
I dressed up as a Colts cheerleader one year.
You get the
job. I just think it was very educational. It taught me a lot about the female experience that I wouldn't have got to know otherwise. And I think it broadened my horizons and just taught me lessons that I wouldn't have learned otherwise.
Are you saying that cheerleading is only for girls, Kondo?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, well, you said female experience.
I was a female. I dressed up as a female, which is probably like looked down upon now. So I will move off of that topic.
Yeah.
Candy that others think is gross that you like, particularly Halloween candy.
Almond Joys.
Okay, that is
a
gross one.
They are my as close to a second favorite, or as close to the first favorite as you can be without actually being first. Absolutely.
What does that mean?
Like, Reese's are my favorite above anything. But then, like, right behind them is Almond Joys. And then, like, way, way down is, like, a lot of other candies. I'm not a big candy guy. Like, really just Reese's and Almond Joys.
That's it. That's all I need.
That's all I need. Smarties are pretty good. You can't go wrong with a Smartie.
Smarties. I think Smarties, we'll talk about that later. That is one of my answers. I said, what did I say?
I don't know.
Who knows what I said?
I wasn't there.
Apparently not me.
Yeah.
Others think is gross. Okay, I'm blanking out right now. You
are zombed.
Am I just like...
You're on another planet.
I think I just got too caught up in the I think I got myself canceled with the female thing, and now I'm just worried.
I mean, at this point.
Candy that others think is gross that you like. I might not move on until I actually get to think of it. Mr. Goodbar. That was an easy one. Yeah. Mr. Good bars are awesome.
Nasty.
It's just peanuts and like a piece of chocolate. Like, yeah, it's solid. Also, one that I don't think is gross, but maybe underrated are the fruit Tootsie Rolls. I think those are often slept on.
Those are pretty good.
Scarier, ghosts or aliens?
I think ghosts. Just like if I see an alien, I'll be able to see it, and like I'll be able to like, square up. Whereas like a ghost can just like go through your body, and like all of a sudden, you can't touch it, but it can touch you. Like, this is crazy.
Can it?
Yeah. What do you mean? Like it like throws stuff at you all the time. Walking through the house, and all of a sudden someone just chucks like a mason jar on the ground, and you're like, no one was there, and it's like, oh man, the ghost trying to.
That's why I don't have any mason jars.
Yeah, I love mason jars.
No, that's just the risk you take when you enjoy mason jars, I would suppose.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
So you can't be mad when they throw those around.
I'm a little mad because I'm like, listen, I don't know
good money for that mason jar.
Yeah, but I don't know who you are, thinking you can come into my house and like throw my mason jar like this. Like, I get that, like, you're dead and all, and like you're angry, but like, chill out, dude.
See, that's the thing. I think what you just said is why I would say aliens are scarier, because ghosts, I feel like I could reason with a ghost. Like, I can talk to a ghost and be like, first off, ghosts are just like people. So there's a good chance I see a ghost and it's just like, oh, grandma, what's up? Or something like that. And it's just somebody like I know.
I don't think that's how it works, though. Like,
I think.
I mean, think about Annabelle.
Who's that? I don't know an Annabelle.
Annabelle is the famous scary doll. What about Chucky? Like, those are dolls. Like, those are like dead ghosts. Those are ghosts that possess the doll.
Is that true?
I think so.
Okay, so I think ghost dolls or ghosts is a different discussion. But as for ghosts, I feel like I could talk to a ghost, where an alien probably speaks like a different language, but like, I don't know that I would be able to communicate with the alien.
Smart enough to come to another planet and like be ready for us, and like, hey, we know humans are here. Like, think about it. Like, they already know. They probably already been here for like years, so like they already know our language. They have little bases here. I think they already know what we speak and like how to communicate with us depending on where they land. I think they're smart.
I think you're making a lot of assumptions about aliens.
I mean, have you ever seen an alien?
No, and that's why I don't feel safe making assumptions.
You're lost.
What's the most overrated Halloween candy?
Overrated? Anything Hershey. Like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't like just like bars of chocolate. I think it's nasty.
Nasty?
Eating that much chocolate just is like, I can't do it.
I don't know that I'd go all the way to saying nasty.
I mean, like, you can enjoy like a square and you're like, oh, this was good chocolate.
It's just when they boost it out to make it rectangular that you have a problem with it.
What? No. It's like you have like one of those little like chunks that they break off.
And that's enough?
That's enough. And I'm like, all right, that was good enough for me. But then they have like 18 extra pieces on there. I'm like, Jesus.
I thought you were saying the Dove like squares. Also kind of crazy that Dove makes chocolate and soap, and that's just what they do.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting combo.
I
guess the process may be the same. Who knows?
I mean, hey, what is it that crazy though? We have companies that make, baby formula, and then they start making vaccines. So
I have no idea. I don't know if that's a road I want to go down. Overrated Halloween candy. Mine's Twix. It's just too much in there. Also, Butterfingers. I feel like a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people like Butterfingers, but they have a lot of advertisements that make me think that they do. Or Butterfingers just spending out the wazoo trying to get people to like them.
I think it's the latter. I think they're just trying to make people buy them. I mean, I'm not a big Butterfinger guy either. I'm with you.
Would you rather go to a haunted house or haunted hayride?
I think I like hayrides. Hayrides are just fun. You're outside, get the fresh air and stuff. Haunted house, it just smells bad. Like that's really what it is, and it's just a bunch of jump scares. I mean, if you go to like a real haunted house, like not like one where people are jump scaring you, actual ghosts and stuff there, that might be fun. But I have to go hayride.
Well, I am the son of a third-generation farmer. I
Right.
have been married 10 years to the farmer's daughter.
Right.
So I would say haunted hayride.
Right.
As an international harvester. So, let's see.
The second take extra, Rendon, MIA, RIP, or Dynasty guy season.
I can do a rankings.
Second take extra.
Second take extras.
Dynasty guy, and then Rendon. It's because Rendon hasn't interacted with us on this sacred holiday. So
Rendon isn't here at the moment.
Yeah, I mean,
that would probably push him down the list.
I mean, all three of them are above J-Kin 40 though. So
Kenny broke the news about Duke Johnson. Are you starting Duke Johnson this week? What?
I said I might as well. I think I might just to have like an excuse for why I lost.
What do you mean? I would do it because it looks like you're going to beat me by 40. So you can probably get the 40 started.
Since you said that, I think Cordell Patterson's dropping a 30 bomb. So that's all I need.
Let's see here. Gaskin is playing the team that gives up the least fantasy points. What do you have to say about that, Cody?
He's speaking nothing but facts. I'm aware.
How did we meet? It was a rainy day, and I don't know. We actually knew each other since kindergarten.
Yeah, I think Kondo and me. I have a picture of you, me, and someone else. So I haven't talked to in probably 10 years. And it was from my old house. And I moved from my old house when I was like 5 or 6. So I've known Kondo for forever.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
It has been. Second Take Extra loves Twix and Kit Kats. I think Kit Kats are underrated.
Kit Kats are underrated. Twix, I just can't get behind. Sorry, speech impediment kicking in here.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Twix. But Second Take Extra is a big Almond Joy fan. Mount Joy. This one question's for me. I bleed John Deere green. I think that's pretty.
Yeah. Red, white, green. It's Kondo colors.
Mm-hmm. So that is it, I believe, for us.
Good Friday episode.
Unless you have any more Halloween questions.
Give me a second here. What's the best Halloween movie?
Halloweeny?
What?
As a movie, right? I didn't just say that just off instinct and have it not be a movie. I don't know if that's the best, but I know that is the thing. Hubie Halloween was quite great last year.
Oh, okay.
I believe Halloweeny is a flick. Is it not?
I'll look. Halloweeny?
I thought it was like the dog movie. Okay, no, it's not.
No.
It is not, from what I found.
Oh, man. Well, that's...
Don't... Yeah, you can look it up. Depends on your interest. I thought it was... Okay. I go with...
Halloweeny. Let's see.
I go with... what was it? Hubie Halloween?
It says it's a book.
Oh, it is?
Well, if I typed in Halloweener, it's like a hot dog.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's a book, though. It's not. It doesn't look like it's a movie. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not.
So what's your choice?
Scooby-Doo. Halloween special. My favorite.
Nightmare Before Christmas is the best. Can't go wrong there. But is that...
That is a Halloween movie.
A Halloween movie or Christmas movie? It's always been my thing.
I think it's like a mix between both, and I think you can watch it both times.
I'm also not a big Halloween movie guy, so like
I'm
my I've always been too afraid to watch that movie, and I don't think like that's a movie you're supposed to be too afraid to watch.
No, you shouldn't be.
But hey, I'm just a pizza. What do I know? You think I can trade Darrell Williams and Waddle for Woods? Or is Waddle going to be better rest of the season? I would probably do that deal. I would look to get more if you could. But
I mean, Woods, I think, is going to finish better than Waddle rest of season. But you're also giving away a starting running back for another couple weeks. Up for no other, like no one else. I mean, your team doesn't necessarily need it, but
new Halloween movie is good. Again, just too scary for me. I'd shiver these Ronies right off.
Happens to the best of us.
On that note, I think that is it for us today.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. As always, feel free if you want to throw a subscribe on the YouTube or to the Twitch. Hey, we have no problem with that. But we appreciate you guys checking us out today and participating in the chat as always.
Tell your friends.
Best of luck. What was that?
But tell your friends.
Yeah. Pass it on. Kindness. Pass it on. Best of luck in your week 8 fantasy matchups. Have a good Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Also, and we will see you back here on Monday.
See you then.